The Indiana Fever just dropped 111 points on the Los Angeles Sparks. No Caitlin Clark. No problem, right? Wrong. The truth about the Indiana Fever without Caitlin Clark is far more complicated, far more fascinating, and far more important than a single blowout victory. After Clark went down with a back injury on June 24th, the Fever did something that shocked the basketball world. They demolished the Sparks 111-87, looking like a completely different, and in some ways, more fluid, offensive machine. The ball moved faster. The shots came easier. The defense actually looked sharper. And suddenly, a dangerous question emerged from the WNBA discourse. Are the Fever actually better without Caitlin Clark? Let's be clear, that question is absurd. But it's being asked. And the answer requires us to dig deep into the numbers, the tape, and the psychology of a team that has built its entire identity around the most exciting player in women's basketball. Today, we're exposing the truth. We're breaking down the Fever's performance with and without their superstar. We're analyzing the supporting cast that has stepped up in her absence. We're confronting the uncomfortable reality of the Ewing Theory. And we're revealing the one undeniable fact that changes everything about how you view this team. Because here's the truth. The Indiana Fever are a very, very good team without Caitlin Clark. But they are a championship-caliber, title-contending, history-making force with her. And the difference between those two versions is the difference between a first-round exit and a WNBA championship. But they cannot beat the best teams in the league without Clark. They cannot win a championship without Clark. They cannot compete with the Aces, the Liberty, or the Sun without their superstar. The Fever's 111-87 win over the Sparks was a statement, but it was a statement about depth, not about Clark being expendable. It was a reminder that the Fever have a strong supporting cast, but it was not evidence that the team is better without Clark. Clark elevates the Fever from a good team to a great team, from a playoff team to a championship contender, from a team that wins regular season games to a team that wins playoff series. That's the truth. The playoff elephant in the room. What happened in 2025? If you want to understand the truth about the Indiana Fever without Caitlin Clark, you have to look at the 2025 WNBA playoffs. It's the elephant in the room that no one wants to talk about, but it's the most important piece of evidence in this entire discussion. The 2025 season. Caitlin Clark was the WNBA's Rookie of the Year in 2024. She shattered records, broke barriers, and transformed the Indiana Fever into a must-watch team overnight. The Fever made the playoffs for the first time since 2016. But in 2025, Clark's sophomore season was derailed by injuries. She appeared in just 13 of 44 regular season games. She suffered a left quad sprain, a left groin sprain, a right groin injury, and a bone bruise in her left ankle. It was a brutal, frustrating season for Clark and the Fever. The Fever, however, still made the playoffs. They finished with a 24-20 record, good for the 5th seed in the Eastern Conference. They did it without Clark for most of the season. They did it behind Kelsey Mitchell, Aliyah Boston, and a supporting cast that refused to quit. But then came the playoffs. And that's where the truth was revealed. The 2025 playoff meltdown. The Fever faced the Connecticut Sun in the first round of the 2025 WNBA playoffs. The Sun were the 4th seed, a veteran team led by Alyssa Thomas, DeWanna Bonner, and Brianna Jones. The Fever were the underdogs. But here's the catch. The Fever had beaten the Sun twice during the regular season. They had confidence. They had momentum. They had a deep roster that had proven it could win without Clark. Then the series started, and the Fever got absolutely destroyed. Game 1, Sun 89, Fever 72. The Fever's offense was stagnant. Mitchell scored 18 points, but needed 17 shots to do it. Boston had 14 points and 9 rebounds, but she was neutralized by Thomas's physical defense. The Fever's bench scored just 15 points. The Sun's defense suffocated them. Game 2, Sun 95, Fever 74. It was even worse. The Sun scored at will. Thomas recorded a triple-double. The Fever had no answer. Mitchell shot 5 for 16. Boston was in foul trouble. The Fever's offense crumbled in the second half. Game 3, Sun 91, Fever 85. The Fever fought back. They played with desperation. Mitchell scored 27 points. Boston had 20 points and 14 rebounds. But in the final 4 minutes of the game, the Fever's offense went cold. They couldn't get a stop. They couldn't score in crunch time. The Sun closed the game on a 14-4 run and completed the sweep. The Fever were eliminated in the first round. Swept. Outclassed. Exposed. The lesson: the Fever without Caitlin Clark are a good team. They can win 24 games in the regular season. They can beat mediocre teams. They can make the playoffs. But they cannot win in the playoffs. They cannot beat elite teams when the game slows down, when the defense tightens, when every possession matters. They don't have a go-to scorer who can create a shot out of nothing. They don't have a player who can bend the defense and create easy looks for others. They don't have a closer. Caitlin Clark is that player. She is the closer. She is the engine. She is the difference between a first-round exit and a deep playoff run. The Fever's 111-87 win over the Sparks without Clark is impressive, but it's regular season basketball against a bad team. The playoffs are a completely different animal. And without Clark, the Fever are not built to survive the playoffs. That's the hard truth. The ultimate verdict: championship contender or playoff pretender. We've looked at the numbers. We've analyzed the supporting cast. We've debated the Ewing Theory. We've relived the playoff collapse. Now it's time to deliver the ultimate verdict. The Indiana Fever without Caitlin Clark. Record: 2-1 in 2026, small sample size. 24-20 in 2025, regular season without Clark for most of the year. Offensive rating: 106.2, good for fourth in the WNBA. Defensive rating: 102.1, good for second in the WNBA. Net rating: plus 4.1, solid, playoff caliber. Playoff ceiling: first round exit, as proven in 2025. Identity: a balanced, defensive-minded, physical team that relies on Mitchell's scoring and Boston's interior presence. They are tough, disciplined, and deep. Best wins: regular season wins over the Sparks, the Sky, the Dream. Worst losses: playoff sweep by the Sun, lost to the Fire without Clark. The Indiana Fever with Caitlin Clark. Record: 17 games played in 2026, 11-6 in those games, plus additional games in 2025 when healthy. Offensive rating: 113.8, best in the WNBA. Defensive rating: 104.8, middle of the pack. Net rating: plus 7.5, elite, championship caliber. Playoff ceiling: WNBA Finals. Championship contention. Identity: a high-octane, three-point heavy, fast-paced offensive juggernaut that breaks defensive schemes with Clark's gravity. The floor is stretched. The ball moves. The scoring is explosive. Best wins: wins over the Liberty, the Sun, and the Aces when Clark played. Worst losses: some defensive lapses, occasional turnovers, but the offense usually bails them out. The verdict: the Indiana Fever without Caitlin Clark are a very good basketball team. They are a playoff team. They are a top 4 seed in the Eastern Conference. They have all-stars, depth, and excellent coaching. They would compete for a playoff series. But the Indiana Fever with Caitlin Clark are a championship contender. They are the most dangerous offensive team in the league. They have an MVP candidate who changes the game in ways that don't always show up in the box score. They can beat anyone, anywhere, anytime. The difference between very good and championship contender is Caitlin Clark. She is the difference between a first-round exit and a WNBA Finals appearance. She is the difference between a fun regular season story and a title that will be remembered for decades. The truth about the Indiana Fever without Caitlin Clark. The truth is that the Fever are a deep, talented, well-coached team that can survive without their superstar. They can win games. They can beat bad teams. They can make the playoffs. But they cannot win a championship without her. They cannot beat the Aces, the Liberty, or the Sun in a 7-game series. They cannot close out tight games in the fourth quarter. They cannot generate offense against elite defenses. Caitlin Clark is not the Fever's only weapon, but she is the weapon that makes all the other weapons dangerous. She is the sun that the rest of the team orbits around. Without her, the Fever are a collection of talented players. With her, they are a dynasty in the making. So the next time someone asks you, are the Fever better without Caitlin Clark? You can look them in the eye and tell them the truth. No, they are not, and they never will be.